Hello everybody, Reggie Time here with another small stakes session of short deck or 6 plus or whatever it is that you personally want to call it. I've started playing this game recently. I am utterly shit at it at the moment, but I'm hoping to improve. We'll talk a little bit about what I think I've been doing wrong in a moment when I play this on through. And we drag it down. For the sixes, I think. Like so far in this game, the problems I've been having is I've been willing to get it in pre-flop too often with too many hands that can't be doing terribly, but also aren't doing great. As you can see by the stats, so there's some players who are just utterly crazy, who you'd willingly get it all in pre very wide against, and then there's some other players like these guys with like the 2% 3-bet, the 11% opens, who look like fish, like 49-11. It's very fishy stats, but I think in these games that's much more like your 25-8 types in no limit, and these are the guys that I've been struggling against in terms of like getting it in light. I think my pre-flop ranges need an absolute fucking ton of work, which shouldn't be too hard to get my head around. I'm going to watch some training content over the coming days, try and get my head around what are reasonable stacking off ranges, and then work from there. Open sizes, I'm just making it pot when it folds to me, and pot plus a bit extra when it's not on, when it's been limpers already in the pot, etc. Looks like a reasonable starting point for a hand. Very connected board. We're not going to bet small here. There's tons of ace-x, 2 pairs, flush draws that would maybe willing to roll the dice there. Another thing I like about this game, because at the moment I'm losing at the minute, not by a lot. I've lost about maybe 200 antes in 1400 hands, something like that. So it's fuck all. But I've made some horrendous errors deep stacked. But you can do this. You can just say, oh, you know what? I've got a big stack here. I'm not comfortable playing this deep yet, so therefore I'm going to. We just need to get this guy's utterly mental. Ace Jack's clearly way ahead of his range, given he got it in with 8-6 off just a moment ago. Overcall behind. That doesn't seem like it'll be particularly good news. And now we're just waiting to see where the chips go. And they're going to come to us and him. It's an absolutely mental game. The amount of gambling in this game is off the charts. It shouldn't be particularly hard once you get even remotely good at it to find enormous edges. And I do mean enormous, because look at the state of the fucking morons that we're up against. Again, I guess we just punt it here with the 10 jack suited, because this guy's clearly any 2. Just a 4-way all in this time. We have the jack 10. We're in rough shape. I don't know what we could have used there. But these games, these players just set the games absolutely on fire. We're going to limp here because we haven't topped up properly. He's going to go all in, and we're going to see what happens. Because we know he's going all in already. This guy's clearly a regular. This guy's extra dead money in there. No, whatever. In we go again. And we win. It's a crazy, 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 mental, everyone's off the fucking tits game. And I'm not beating it yet. I've literally never seen anything like these games in my entire life. So what I've done is, because I know I'm not very good at the moment, I'm playing incredibly low. These 5 ante games, just $10 for 100 antes, and I'm doing a chip withdrawal when I get to like 1,000 chips or whatever. When I can withdraw back to 500 or more, between 500 and 750, I'm just doing a withdrawal because, like I say, I've made some horrendous mistakes deep stacked, and getting it all in with ace queen 3 ways in like 600 ante pots and just being fucking virtually dead. Like getting it with ace queen and running to kings and aces, things like that. It seems like, apart from these utter maniacs, most people, they just seem to want to get it in pre with like Queen's plus and Ace King. I mean, here obviously we just rip it in with our Ace King. There's not a lot of post flop to these games. That's what I'm trying to say. And frustrating things like that happen quite a lot, but what are you going to do? What are you going to do? It's just bedlam. Utter bedlam. But in a really, really good fun way. Kick it off with a check here with our Jack 10. Obviously we're going to be calling a bet with our open ender. And we'll be planning on leading turns. Assuming we get to see a turn, of course. Because people do play draws very, very aggressively in these games too. And there's a lot of overplaying of draws going on. Meanwhile, we've just turned the nuts. And I think that betting something over 200 seems reasonable. Well, we're going to get it all in with the best hand. Question is, are we going to come out with the best hand? I mean, this is a really good spot. We've got the absolute nuts. And the pot's huge. And now the diamonds come on the river. And we are not going to win this pot anymore. Okay. We are going to win the pot. Oh, we're going to win a share of it. Did not expect that. Here we've gone... What did we do here? Why have we got 20 now? We potted it. And then we've been 3-bet smallish, which you almost never see. The call. And now we're just going to check and fold. Pair, good shot, and some backdoors. We're going to try and see one more card here. And now we're going to give up. Top our stack up. And on this table we're going to do a 500 chip withdrawal. And again, with the pair and a good shot, we're going to call one. And then just kind of give up. Don't think we're good here. This is a guy that's been... Is this the same guy or a different guy? Has he moved seats? Is it the same guy? Is it not the same guy? Now he's come along. I think it's probably just a fold. Ace 9 is probably not strong enough. I was 100% just piling in these spots over the weekend, and I don't think it's good. I think there we're going to need like Ace, Jack suited, then like Queens, Kings, Aces, that type of thing. But as you can see, like 7, 9 and Queen 10 are just liberally throwing their money around, and I'm clueless at the moment into like what the correct strategy for this game is. That's too many new things happening for me, and I've no idea. I think that if you're trying to play correctly and other people are trying to play correctly, I think a lot of limping is a thing, and like just calling normal size raises, etc. But these are, I'm presuming this isn't how the game's meant to play. Not presuming, I know how these games play is so far from, like, most players are so far from optimal. They just want to gamble, they get in the Queen Jack offs and they just whoosh, 50 antes, bang, let's go, etc. And I need to kind of get my head round what types of ranges I'm going to be willing to stack off with pre against various player types, because it can't be the same for everybody. That's one thing I do know for sure. Like my stacking off range versus this guy is going to be different to what it is against this guy, against this guy, against this fucking maniac over here. And at the minute I'm just like using one size fits all with like the ranges I've been willing to just gamble with pre-flop. And I know that can't possibly be correct, but I've just been having too much fun flicking chips in the middle and seeing what happens. Fortunately, it's been very inexpensive so far. But I'd much rather we could take it more to the streets post flop. I mean, if you've got to flip for a $10 here and there, then fine, I'll flip for $10 here and there. But you don't learn very much about a new game doing that. You don't get good at a new game doing that. But it's just how these games play. Maybe if I get, win enough in the... I mean, let's face it, if I'm not beating these games, then I've got no business thinking about moving up. But hopefully we do well out of these games over the coming weeks. I do move up into games where perhaps they play more normally pre-flop, where we can actually start to try and develop our game rather than just gamble, 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 which, as fun as it is, doesn't help you develop. I know for a fact this is just a limp now, but I also wouldn't be surprised exactly if this sort of thing happened at 100, then fucking, all-ins. Because we can't limp call this amount. We can't just limp call like 20 antes with 6-7 offsuit. We're going to pot this here. Fully expect... Oh no, this isn't the same guy now, is it? I thought this was the 8450 VPIP guy, who I would just have to go with pre-flop. It seems like people either want to limp or they want to go all in. There's like literally no in between, or very little in between. It's either I'm limping or I'm shoveling all my chips in, and there's no like, we race to like 7 antes, 2 people call and we see a flop and we play a post flop. That is the exception rather than the rule. As you can see here, it's just like whoosh. I mean, this guy, he's obviously trying a bit harder than some others because he's only 54-17 and not like 85 something. So I think he considers himself something of a regular. But he's obviously terrible at getting it all in pre-flop with ace-10 versus somebody who's only raising 9% of the time. Probably isn't what you want to do. I'm concerned that I'm losing too much money by just like all these shitty little like limp and folds, because it's very rare you see like a limped pot. A lot of the time it is just like limp raise, bang, 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 bang. I would say all in pre-flop is happening at least 25 to 30% of the time in these particular games. So I'm not sure. I know you're supposed to do a lot of limping in this game, especially from the earlier positions. But I'm not sure if we're just hemorrhaging money doing that, given how often all the money's just going in pre-flop. So how much are we giving up by like limping hands that we can never hope to call an all-in with? But I don't want to play too nitty either. That's the other side of it is, if we're just like literally waiting for the top 15% of hands to get it all in with, then that's obviously going to be way too nitty. So I'm a long way from developing a perfect or even an acceptable strategy. I have watched some training content, some training videos, but none of them have featured games like these. They've all been a little bit higher stakes, and they've featured people probably trying to play reasonable strategies. So maybe on my own a little bit in terms of devising strategies for these exact game types. But I'm still going to continue watching the training content so I can learn, or try and learn how to play better, whilst obviously having to make some ridiculous adjustments because of the nature of the exact games that I'm in. But it's interesting. It's a lot more interesting than No Limit Hold'em, where I feel I know quite a lot about that game, but don't really enjoy it. But it does seem to be either like really small pots or fucking enormous pots. That is how this game appears to function at these incredibly small stakes. But like I said, until I'm beating these games, until I'm confident I've got edge, and at the minute I know I should have edge and I should be able to develop edge, but at the minute I don't think I have. Until I actually feel confident in any edge I may or may not have, then there's just no point moving up, and I'm just going to be increasing my variance, for no good reason. If any of you are watching this video, I could no doubt find it myself just with a little bit of Googling, but if any of you watching this video know of any good pre-flop starting hand charts for this game by position, then please do, from like good sources, not from like some shithouse like me who's just developed his own. Any good sources of like content for how we should be playing our ranges from certain positions and which hand we should be playing. I'd be highly delighted if you could share that with me. Like this, it's just an open limp, but this guy, just wow, just ripping it all in. So it's really hard to learn the game when this is just happening so frequently. But obviously, given people are doing such clearly suboptimal things, there has to be massive edge still to be found. Just has to be. It's impossible for there not to be. Is it a little bit frustrated? Would I rather the games played a little bit more sensibly so I could learn a little bit quicker? Yes, but they don't, and you've got to adapt to your surroundings, haven't you? I mean, for example, limping here is fine. How much are we meant to be able to call? If someone makes it 10 antes, are we able to call that? If they make it 12 antes, what's the cut-off for like limp calling? Especially with like what's relatively weak hands, they're going to make relatively, even when they make hands, they're not going to be super nutted. I mean, maybe this is just a fold from this position, 2 off the button, well, 1 off the button because he's sitting out. Maybe it should be a raise. I don't know. I'm just not that keen on raising hands like this, given there's so much action pre-flop in terms of people going all in. I'd rather just lose 5 antes trying to see a flop than pop it up to say 6 antes and then some fucker goes all in and you're just touching 6 antes rather than 1 ante. Is this a 3-bet or is it a call? Given he's got a 13% fold to 3-bet, I mean, I'm guessing it's just a 3-bet. We flopped nothing, so I guess we're done here. I mean, no. Change your mind, this guy isn't trying to play well. He's just cold called a 3-bet on the button with 7-8 offsuit. So he's obviously not trying to play well. He's just in there gambling like every cunt else is. To a rare moment of post-flop action here. We've called a raise with his 7-8 of spades. That C-bet's clearly way too small into that pot. Raising isn't going to achieve anything, so we're just going to call and hope to see a turn. Not really sure what we're hoping to see. I guess an ace or a 9 would be good. Don't think backdoor flushes come in this game too often. I think if you're calling on the strength of a backdoor flush, you may be calling a little bit too much. It's nice to have that added bit of equity, I suppose, but given that flushes are quite rare in these games, and yeah, you wouldn't just want to call with just your backdoor. Like on the flop sometimes you might want to call with your backdoor flush draws in no limit hold'em, pot limit Omaha, etc. if the bet's small enough. I think it was just a backdoor flush draw we had here. Then it's not enough, but we had a pair and backdoor straight and backdoor flush draws, so I think it's fine. Maybe we try and bluff this river. If he checks to me again, I think we can try and bluff, given it's gone 4 antes pre. Now he's betting, we're just going to fold. And then he made it 4 antes pre, then he just bet 4 antes. Then he checked the turn, so I don't think he's particularly strong there, but I'm not going to try and bluff raise him on. Into a relatively dry board, given he has raised and then bet 2 of the 3 streets. Just stab here with a good shot, limped pot. You're entitled to think no one's especially strong on this board. I mean, they could be, obviously people could flop sets, 2 pairs, etc. But I think it's reasonable to assume there will be hundreds of strong hands out there. And then the king pairs, so We won't be putting any more money in. So these orange tagged players, to me, these are like the weak tight guys you see in your standard no limit hold'em games. It looks loose. I think this 45-7 looks way looser than it actually is, because we're like, I mean, my VPIP in this game is up at 30%, whereas my no limit hold'em VPIP's around 20%. So if I'm VPIPing 50% more, you have to assume what these are too. So that's probably more likely to be like a 30/5 style, if you want to translate it to no limit hold'em type stats. Very easy all in here with the ace king, of course. Although we don't love it. I mean, the guy's limping a lot, and then he's just like decided to go all in. He's only got a 9% PFR, and we are obviously crushed, but we do appear to have got there. Well, I think in this game ace king has about 40% versus pocket kings. Could be wrong. We're going to do our take 750. Oh no, I don't want to chop up that. Take 750 chips off. Okay, only 500's letting me take off then. And I think we'll probably take another 500 off too, because we're still going to be 200 antis deep. And I don't want to be 200 antis deep. I'm not good enough yet. Even against these guys, I'm not good enough to be 200 antis deep. I'm nowhere near familiar enough with the types of ranges for that. Ace queen against this player. I think we just pile our 100 antis in. Even he's playing 67-40 or thereabouts. This could be bad. This could be bad, this king jack. I'm not sure. Got lucky there. Not proud of that, but again, I mean, you're pretty unlucky when the 67-40 wakes up with kings and you've got ace queen. You're pretty unlucky. Turn the nuts here, and we're not going to be shy about it. I'm not going to be shy about betting. Chip withdrawal here of 500. Get it all in and probably chop it here. Yep. And the queen 9, I think it's probably okay to limp this. I'm going to do another 500 chip withdrawal. It's not letting me. It's because we're now below 1,000 once we posted the ante. So the session seems to be settling down a little bit, which pleases me. I'll have a little bluff here with our gut shot and flush draw, giving the flop check through. And then we totally brick, so we're going to give up. And we have to call at least one here with the king 10 after calling pre-flop. We turn a straight. It's not the nut straight, but at this SPR we're just going to have to go with it anyway. Yep, chop it up. Chop it up. Here we have triple aces. I think we can bet relatively small here. There's no draws out there. The ace just plays a 5, so there is some like 6-7 straight draws out there and 6-9 straight draws out there, but given how much we're in pre, I'd be surprised if there was too much of that knocking round. Now we can take 500 off. So yeah, I've withdrawn my account down to just 10,000 chips in this. If I go broke, then I'll have to reassess my life options, my life choices. And I'll be playing these games until my bankroll reaches 30,000, which would then be 30 buy-ins for the next limit up. So it's kind of a guess. It's like a little short deck bankroll challenge, which normally I don't stick at, but this one I could see myself definitely sticking at, because it actually is a challenge of not just building a bankroll in the game, but also building your experience and your knowledge in the game. So this could actually be one of the first bankroll challenges I've ever done that might actually have some legs to it. So yeah, I've decided it is going to be a bankroll challenge. This is going to be the only game that I play on the apps until either I decide I don't like it anymore, or we achieve our goal of making however many antis it is to get to the next limit. Maybe this should be a raise, but I've been limping at fuck balance. But to balance my range, I should be limping the aces here, because I'm limping everything else from this position. But fuck balance. And that seems like it's an utterly atrocious flop for two aces. We're already getting the top up ready. Don't think we can fold yet, but I won't be looking to put too many chips in this pot on this board texture. Hopefully that turn slows him down. It doesn't, and we're folding. Because we don't beat anything for value there by that point. If he's value betting, we almost assuredly don't beat it. See, what would that be if I'm trying to make 20,000 chips? Means I want to make 4,000 antis. So that's reasonable. Make 4,000 antis in the game before you move up. Especially when it's like a brand new game to you, where you're going to be making lots and lots of mistakes. So let's make them as inexpensively as possible by playing the smallest game in town. I've been doing a bit too much spike calling in these spots. I'm just going to fold. I've been using so much spike calling with like Jack 10 suited. You're like, oh, but a coin flip against aces. But that's all we are, we're only a coin flip. And that's Jack 10 suited. I'm not even sure King Queen suited functions the same way. I think King Queen suited is probably not as good to get in. I mean, I don't know. Again, I've not studied it. I've not looked into it. I've not read much on it. But I mean, logic would say that if Jack 10 suited to flip against aces, then King Queen suited is even stronger. So why wouldn't that be? But don't think it works that way. I think 8-10 suit is just a little bit too weak. Especially when you're not guaranteed to see flops. Of course we would have flopped 2 pair, but never mind that. Maybe it's not too weak there. Maybe we should just be calling. At the moment, I'm not that fond of just like calling raises unless I'm on the button, because there's just too many people to go behind, and I'll just see too much all-in pre-flop. So it feels like I'm just like torching antis by like calling with hands that I know I can't continue with versus further pre-flop action. He's probably just going to jam. We're going to call. We're going to hope he doesn't have aces. That's not the worst flop in the world, given there's 2 aces come on the board. No value in betting, I don't think. Might see some low ones reel off. I don't want to see like a queen or a jack, I don't think. I mean, can we just jam for value now and just hope he gets curious with queens, etc.? I think we're going to try. Maybe he does. What does he do with queens here if we check back and then jam? Who knows? We're not going to find out either this time. But when he checks twice, when he doesn't donk the flop and when he doesn't lead the turn after we check, I think he just doesn't have ace X, so therefore it's like, right, fine. Let's see what, he does with like pocket queens, pocket jacks, that type of thing. I mean, normally I would just bet a bit smaller, but given that the SPR was like 1.4 or something, usually, in any situations, if I'm going to bet with an SPR of like less than 1.5, my bet size of choice is usually all in. Pretty rare I'll bet small in a very less than 1.5 SPR spot. Maybe if I have the absolute immortal nuts. But that's about it. Now these games do seem to have settled down just a little bit since the opening 10 chaotic minutes of the video. Like, I've started all of these tables, and I think maybe when your table's starting playing 3-handed, people just go fucking mental. And perhaps once you start playing 6-handed, people are still going a little bit mental, just not quite as mental. This Jack 10 is going to be a call if it's only going to cost us 50 to get to a flop. Flop a good shot with paired board with 2 overcards. So we're not going to be in a rush to put more money in here. We're not going to be in a rush to put any more money in here now. It's a good chance there'll be a video every day coming out this week too. Perhaps the only day maybe wouldn't be is going to be tomorrow, Tuesday. Sorry, Wednesday. Sorry, not Tuesday. Wednesday might be the only day there might not be a video. Because the young man I usually support through the week, 2 or 3 mornings a week, sadly his dad has contracted COVID, so I won't be seeing him now for 10 days, unfortunately. So basically I have almost nothing to do unless some voluntary work comes in until a week on Thursday. So it gives me a lot of time to put a decent amount of volume in. I'm going to try, and I've said this on video before, given I'm going to be playing these games, and this is an Asian club, so the best times to play are like from around 11 AM till around 5 PM UK time. I'm going to try and get myself on a schedule where I'm not staying up until 5 and 6 in the morning doing fuck all, to be frank. I'm not even being productive. I'm just staying up watching shit on TV or on Netflix or Amazon or whatever. So I'm going to try and get myself on a schedule where I'm awake at 9:30 and ready to play poker from 10:30 onwards. Because that would really help with my volume. And given that I'm quite more incentivized to play this game and learn this game than I have been to grind Ultimate Hold'em for the past 3 or 4 months, hopefully that will be enough incentive to actually get me into a decent schedule. Then I can have an afternoon nap, and then I can just fuck around in some Sky tournaments in the evening with the Discord boys on Sky, if I feel like having a tournament evening. I'm going about 3/4 pot here with our 2 pair on a board where we don't really want to see too many turn cards coming off without putting some money in. We would have made quads. I'm preferring the pace of the games now than at the start, because the first 5 fucking minutes of this video were mental. It's simmered down a lot since then, and I'm much preferring what's happening at the tables right now than I was at the start, in terms of like hoping to find myself in a few more spots where I can learn more about the game. I think versus this stack depth, we're just incentivized to pile here. There's no real proper 3-bet size I can make it. What I'm going to do, make it 180. Doesn't make sense to do that. Getting it in incredibly good. Just want to like sweat the 9-10 not getting there really. Don't really care too much about the Jack Ace getting there. Do I? Why did my stack only... we lost the main pot to him, but then we recovered our stack with the side pot. So we lost money in that pot, didn't we? I mean, the Ace Jack sucked out on us, which is it's a bit of a sickener, but whatever. Yeah, we lost 134 chips because we won the side pot versus the 9-10 off. Here we have an SPR of almost exactly 2. I was going to consider what bet size I'm going to use. Now I'm just considering how quickly I'm going to call. Get it in good. And we eventually come out good. He turned the best hand, and then fortunately the river came along and bailed us out. I'm already prepared for the variance of this game and the suck out. To me, he probably had a decent bit of equity there with his Jack 8 on a Jack 6-9 flop. It's probably not that far up in a coin flip, I would imagine. So even though it looks like, oh, I've got it in Kings versus Jack 8, and you feel entitled to win the pot, like maybe 75-80% of the time, you're probably only supposed to win that from that point. Maybe 55-60% of the time. You just have to get used to, gambling more, I guess, for want of a better way of putting it. And just being willing to just push tiny edges and accept that when doing that, you're going to lose. Hopefully, you're going to win more than you lose. But if you get it in a 100 ante pot, or in a 200 ante pot with 60% equity, you're going to have to expect, to lose a lot of the time, of course. Now, what do we have here? We have a gut shot and an up flush draw. And we can just call here, given it's just so damn small. Now we have a pair, and gut shot, and an up flush draw. I think we're going to fold on the turn because our flush isn't going to come very often. Our gut shot isn't to the nuts. We would have made the straight. And we would have been dead. And had we gone for it on the flop then and gone to get it all in, we'd have got it in really rough shape. We'd have been up against a set and a better straight draw with just our shitty flush draw to fall back on. I'm going to make a bet rather than call a bet here with the gut shot. Turn a pair. Don't want to bet anymore. Really don't want to bet anymore, but is our hand too strong to just check fold? Maybe we can get away with just blocking here. We do have a king to block king 10. And we just take it down with a tiny bet. Which is very nice. I'd like to gamble with this dude, but given this guy's already raised, I think King Queen's probably going to be in rough shape against two players, and we're not closing the action. There's loads of action to go behind. I mean, what this dude's doing with his 10-7 is a mystery to me. He's in a raise and he's in a re-raise, and it's just 10-7 off. Yay! Let's do it. Which doesn't make much sense to me. Against the 63-19 with dead money in the pot. Mind you, it's for 700 antes. Do we just call it? This is the shit spot that I don't understand. I don't want to jam for 700 antes effective. Well, I don't want to just call because we're like calling 18 antes. But I think folding's too weak with a hand as strong as Jack 10 suited. And now we've flopped a pair and we're probably just going to have to check and go with it. And yeah, this is a spot I've no idea what I'm doing in. Now I've got a good idea what I'm doing. Because I think we probably just sucked out. But there, I was clueless there, and I'm comfortable accepting that I was clueless there. Weird SPR. If I didn't want to just jam, I think jamming there would be spew. 100 blinds deep, 100 antes, say 100 to maybe 120 antes. Maybe I'd just fucking roll it because he's like such a loose player. He's going to have like not just aces in his range. We're going to probably be doing okay, but whatever we were, 700, 800 antes deep. I think it has to make a difference, doesn't it? In terms of the range he's going to be willing to get it in with. But who knows? If anyone's got any thoughts on that spot, who's played some short deck, then I'd be very happy to hear them. Because, I know Jack 10 suited is a coin flip against aces pre-flop. So therefore, getting it all in pre couldn't have been terrible. But it does feel like I can do better than just get it all in pre in that situation. Here we have an orange tag player who's made a massive isolation raise. I'm going to go ahead and put him firmly on a monster. Right, what the fuck size do we do this to? No idea. No fucking clue. Just want to try and isolate and get heads up against him. Don't know why I made it 240. I may as well just jammed because once I make it 240, I'm committed to calling jams anyway. Flop to straight here. This guy now goes all in. We're getting way better than 2-1. So we're going to call with a head. And we stay ahead. And again, don't really know what that dude's doing there. But I do know we can take 1,000 chips off, which is nice. Again, if we were just 100 antes deep there, I would have just reshoved against this guy, but because we were like 800 antes deep, then I'm less inclined to. Lose a small one back there. I can live with that. I can live with losing a small one back. ace queen plus their ace jack suited against these 3 stacks, I would have spun it. I'd just rolled the dice, but jack king off feels like it's going to be too wide for that. Why has my chip withdrawal not happened? I know why it hasn't happened. Because it wouldn't let. I asked for 1,000 back. Then because I lost that pot, it couldn't take 1,000 back off me. It turns out getting it in with king jack would have been absolutely fine there at this table. We have a gut shot here. But these are exactly the types of players that I'm not that willing to gamble with. These orange tags. And 2/3 pot does seem a lot to call with the gut shot. So we're not going to. We have a pair and a straight flush draw on this table. No reason to bet. Don't think we can fold. Getting ready with the top up. Because we're not calling another bet, I don't think. No, we're certainly not calling that bet. Get him, spark plug. Get him. Ah, spark plug did not have the necessary tools in his box to get him there. I'll try and see a flop with our 8s. Set mining, something I need to look into in these games. Is set mining a good thing? I'm not convinced. I think like you could hemorrhage a lot of money set mining, baby sets in this game. Like set mining with like, things like jacks, queens, etc. pre-flop, fine. But I think like 9s and below. I mean, basically, how do pocket 8s do against 2 overcards and things like that? I mean, I don't fucking know. How often we're going to flop a set in this game? I don't know. Presuming more often because there's less dead cards. I'm going to limp the ace king here with a view to back raising it because we've got this crazy guy up here who's doing a lot of raising. So we're going to go with a limp raise here, hopefully. Our last chance to get the limp raise in, and we fail. Yes, I need to familiarise myself with the basic maths of this game. Like, how does pocket 8s perform against ace king in this game? Is it to perform better or worse than it does in no limit? I don't know. And it's something that, you know, anyone aspiring to be good at a game, I mean, that's very basic information. I should just know this shit. So I need to go away and like, find some information on pre-flop matchups. Because once I start getting that information, then I'm going to be able to play much better pre-flop. It's hard to make flushes in this game, and we have the nut straight, so we're going to have a little bet. We're not checking back with 2 pairs or sets or anything like that. I'm probably going to make each daily video 1 hour long. I'm going to continue playing, even though there's a snooker match this afternoon I want to watch. I am going to continue playing. I'll catch the second half of it. Not sure all the videos will be live play videos. I think maybe there'll be some extra bonus videos during this challenge of like saving hands where I literally don't know what to do, and then maybe talk through them. I'm not sure yet. If I don't know what I'm doing in a particular sport, then is going to a Micro6 YouTube channel viewers for advice the thing to do. And I mean no disrespect to any of you guys there, but how many of you watching this video are going to be in any way well versed in short deck hold'em? Probably less than 5% of you. And I include myself in that, by the way. That's not me being all fucking some pompous elitist cunt. I wouldn't give advice on this game at the moment. Other than, the only advice I would give to this game is get in here and play it, because it's a fucking good one. I think the tests this game provides you with as a poker player are A, learning a new game and learning it quicker than your peers, and B, it will massively test your mental game. Right, 3-betting just isn't really a thing, so like calling here means that calling to jam over squeezes isn't a thing. Turns out cold calling 3-bets is a thing too. I mean, at this point it's super trivial situation. We have top pair. I mean, I don't expect to win this too often if the other guys, I mean, we'd probably not have great equity in this pot multi-way when we lose to the nuts in 2 spots, which is funny. What are you going to do? You have people calling 3-bets out of position with Queen Jack, and people cold calling 3-bets with Queen Jack. You'd love to see it. But I'd imagine like Queen Jack versus Ace King's a really close matchup in this game, I would guess. We were just unlucky where 2 players flopped the nuts against us in a spot where we couldn't fold our hand because, you know, we had top pair, top kicker in a huge pot with like a really low SPR. So I kind of knew our job's fucked here, you know, that so many people going behind. He's donked into us. We're probably fucked. Maybe that's a fold, given it's a multi-way pot and we have top pair, top kicker, and that's it. Who knows? Maybe that's a fold, actually. Maybe I was too cocky there. Well, not too cocky. Too like, fuck it, let's just go with it. I don't know. That could be a big mistake. Don't think this guy's going to limp and jam. So we'll call with our very pretty hand. Sadly, we don't flop too spectacularly. This guy's clearly losing his mind with his use of the throwables. And then pot here we flopped absolutely nothing in the middle table, so we're not going to put any more chips in. Just a casual 4-way all in. Over here looks like he's won again, is he? No, he's won. So I think my goals for the week are going to be developing my stack off ranges pre for versus everybody, which I think are going to be pretty fucking narrow, and then start figuring out like against these types of guys, like the 60 plus V pips. These are like a stack off range against the 60 plus V pips, stack off range versus the 50 plus and versus the 40 plus, getting progressively wider, of course, as and opponents get progressively looser. Here we're going to make a pretty damn big ISO to 90, I think. Not in love with this flop with the aces. Not folding, but we're not ready to bet yet. Now we probably are. And up here, SPR of 2 is a very nice hand. Just going to bet and go with it. Do we go for a check raise here with our aces? Or do we just get the value that's out there from Queen 10? Queen 10 probably raises so, doesn't it? And we're just going to bet, but I think we could definitely think about working some checks in here. Pulled in the gut shot here, multi-way, on this table. We've had a very profitable video though, I think. Let's have a quick, let's do the math. Minus 32 plus 2,000. Oh, we made 2,400, which is just short of 500 antes. I like that. It's a good start to the challenge. $500 antes out of our 4,000 goal. Obviously, there's going to be some swings in there. It's not all going to be smooth sailing. I'm calling in this spot, I think, assuming one other person comes along. One other person doesn't come along. Just no flops we can continue on, really, is there, if we call and miss? I think it would be a mistake to call there. We'll start with our gut shot. Hasn't been raised pre, so you wouldn't imagine there's too many big ace-x hands out there. And we would have turned the nizzles anyway. This could be a fold, by the way. Don't know. Could be a fold. How happy we're going to be calling, like limp calling a raise with this hand? Probably not that happy. Yeah, so my ranges pre-flop need a lot of work. Of that, I am absolutely certain. I think we'll try an ISO with our King Queen here against 61 VPIP. Have to call if he shoves. Fold if he limp shoves. Pretty dire flop. Do think we can stab it really small though. I'm the one most likely to have ace-x. And I think we'll call it a video. Hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as I have. Because I've really enjoyed it, and I'm really enjoying the game. We'll see these trips out. It'd be the ultimate troll to turn you over in this way, wouldn't it? Oh, flop trips. Bye. See you next time. Have a nice day. Tens is probably going to be a squeeze here. Continue betting the queens. I think we're probably going to check the river though. Is there much more value to be? It's a 61B pip. Just a bet fold in it. It's just like a bet 90. Fold to a raise. Because some straights do get there. Obviously we lose to lots of better queens. Checking back the tens. Calling the 10-9. Still checking back the tens, I think, are we? No, we're going to value bet small. We're going to fold the 10-9. I think people just panic when they have a strong hand in this game and bet for protection. So when he checks twice, I don't think he's checking a better hand than pocket tens twice. And if we don't get dealt anything, we're going to call it a video right now. So thanks for watching, everybody. Take care. If you do start playing this game, have fun. And please let me know if you enjoy it, how you're getting on with it. If you have any really neat strategy tips, please share them with me. And yeah, look out for a video around the same time tomorrow, because one is almost certainly going to be coming. Take care, everybody, and goodbye for now.